Hello, and yeah, it's been a little while since my last video went up. Just been a really busy few weeks, really busy at work, and just really busy in life in general, really. So yeah, but a lot of my life's still the same. Still, are a bit more kind of introverted and on my own and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to kind of share today 5 activities that you can go and do that on your own can actually be quite a lot of fun. And these are actually 5 activities that I have tried myself, and yeah, doing them on my own is actually pretty fun, and it can probably work for you too. So yeah, we'll jump straight into it, and yeah, hopefully this does inspire you guys. And as you say, if you have any comments, feedback, drop them in the comments below, and we're happy to have a chat with you about it. So my number we'll rank them in ascending order of preference. So number 5 is simply going for a coffee. And the reason I say going for a coffee is it's quite low-key, pretty simple, but obviously you can just go along, take a book along with you, people watch, do some work, and yeah, it can be a good way of just getting out and just doing something with your day, breaking your day up a little bit, but it's obviously not anything particularly extravagant. But yeah, sometimes those simple activities like that are quite a lot of fun. So this is something I do quite frequently. Often on Saturday I'll go to the gym, have a session in the spa, and then I might go and have a coffee afterwards before I head home, and I can just sit there, read a book for half an hour, and yeah, it's pretty relaxing. I quite enjoy it. And it's also a chance to try somewhere new as well. I mean, obviously I've been to a lot of the big coffee chains we have in the UK, like Starbucks and Costa and Nero, but I think one of the fun parts of this actually is going to some of the smaller local coffee shops and seeing what they sell, and actually perhaps better coffee than Starbucks does in some cases. So yeah, definitely going and doing that is quite a fun way of getting yourself out if you do find, like me, you've historically had a habit of spending time at home too much. So that's number 5, go and have a coffee. So number 4 is trying a little cooking. And this for me can be actually easier said than done sometimes, because obviously I do still live with my parents, though I am hoping to move out later this year. But when they go away for a weekend, I get the pans, chopping board, knife out, and actually go and cook myself something, because number 1, you get to learn something, right? Number 2, you can experiment, try some new things, and yeah, you actually find you get a lot more pleasure out of eating a home cooked meal than just something ready made. And I've had curries, chili, all these different things, macaroni, cheese and stuff, and I've had ready meal versions of those, but the homemade versions are so much better, and I've made a curry for myself, and I can make a good big batch of it, and then I've got servings that do for like ready meals later on in the week. So yeah, I think going and doing a bit of cooking for yourself is actually a pretty cool thing to do, especially if you've got the time and space to do it. And yeah, the weekend, if you're not doing anything, why not give it a go? I mean, you'll definitely learn something, and if you make a mistake, so what, eh? You learn something. I mean, that's how you get better sometimes. As you go, you try things, trial and error, and yeah, if it doesn't work out, you try something else next time. But generally, it's always pretty enjoyable, I find, especially if you're on your own for the weekend. So yeah, we're on to number 3 then, and this is something I do a little bit more frequently in the summer months, but that's going on a hike. And the example I'll share with you last year was actually I went on a trip over to the Isle of Wight. And for those of you who aren't in the UK, the Isle of Wight's like a small little island. It's just south of Portsmouth, so it's on like the south coast of England. But the weather during July 2022 was really hot. So yeah, it was a trip over on the hovercraft. I'll share the pictures just now if you can see them. And yeah, went over to the Isle of Wight, grabbed the train over to one of the beaches, and then just had a little stroll along up the hills, and yeah, just go and see some awesome scenery. And it was a great day out. Went out and had a picnic, and yeah, carried on having a walk up to the top of the cliffs, and then there was actually a little ice cream place up there, so I was able just to go and have an ice cream at the top there and have a look at one of the monuments there, and then walk back down. And it was a really good day out, and obviously hot weather. So I was there in my shorts as well. It was a lot of fun, and you really went and learned a lot about myself as well. And yeah, and again, the good thing about hiking is it's not actually overly expensive either. It's the kind of thing you just go out in your car and go and do it. It's not, doesn't really need a lot of money, doesn't really need too much planning really. You just go and do it. So yeah, number 3 for me is going on a hike. So my second favourite activity is going to the cinema. And that might surprise some people, but yes, really, I think going to the cinema is a really good activity to go and do by yourself. And here's why. If you're going to the cinema with people, right, I would probably hope you're not going to be going and talking to them during the film, because you would either be watching the film or, well, you should be watching the film. I mean, you wouldn't really be going around talking to people or having a drink unless you're doing something else that you shouldn't be doing in there. Yeah, you're just going to go sit and enjoy the film. And again, it's something that's relatively low cost. I mean, I actually get cinema tickets free from the bank, so it doesn't really cost me anything at all other than the petrol to drive to the cinema. And yeah, you know, I've seen all sorts of different films through doing this. I've seen obviously some of the big releases. I'm obviously a bit of a Bond fan, so I go and watch some of those films. But I've also seen some of the more weirder types of films as well. Like last year, I've probably seen about 4, 5, 6 different weird films just by going to the cinema at the end of the month on a Friday. And yeah, put it this way, it's a much nicer way to spend your evening than being sat at home, scrolling around on Facebook or Instagram, looking at other people, just doing their lives, or sugarcoating their lives, should we say, whereas actually you can just go, treat yourself to a nice evening out, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so definitely recommend giving that a go. And, you know, it can be a bit weird your first time going into a cinema. It does feel a little bit strange, but once you've done it once, it's easy. It really feels quite natural after you've done it once, I find. And, you know, I just want to reassure you, really, that nobody's going to bat an eyelid. Nobody's really going to care that you're there. In fact, nobody's really going to notice, I don't think, that you're there on your own, to be honest. So, yeah, why not give it a go? And now we come to my number 1. And this is my favourite thing I love doing on my own. Travelling the world. Over the last 2 years, literally just throughout the COVID pandemic, but as we started to come out of it, I've really enjoyed travel. And I used to previously say, I didn't really want to go travelling because I thought I've got nobody to go with. You know, am I gonna look a bit weird going on my own? Are people going to judge me for going on my own? You know, that kind of whole thought process just changed throughout COVID, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go somewhere. And put it this way, it's got to be much better going on holiday than not going at all, because I've got nobody to go with. So that's what I always say to myself now. I always say to myself, it's much better to go on your own than not go at all. And where have I been? Well, I started small with domestic trips, so I did a few trips within the UK. Then I worked my way up to trips to Europe for a night or two. And so I've been to Italy, I've been to Germany, had a couple of nights there. And yeah, been a lot of fun. And it's actually, you know, you feel this really big sense of freedom as well when you go and do that. And then, you know, to kind of top it up, last summer in August, I went away to the United States and flew to California, to Los Angeles, and then spent a couple of days there, went to see some of the sites there. And again, I'll show you some of the pictures. So we've got this one here of me just below the Hollywood sign. And yeah, really awesome trip. And again, really learned a lot about myself through doing that. And it's a good confidence boost as well. And so yeah, after that couple of days in LA, it was a trip up the train up the west coast, and travelled all the way up to Seattle just on Amtrak. And yeah, I really had the holiday of my life there, you know, and it was only about a week long, but you know, I really enjoyed that as well. And you know, you're definitely going to learn a lot about yourself there as well. And yeah, you know, it's the kind of thing, it's not something everybody feels too comfortable starting off with. So that's why I say start off with small, you know, domestic trips and work your way up to those international ones. But actually, I had a lot of fun doing that. And I think as long as you know, apply a bit of common sense when you're on your own, you know, manage your risks appropriately, don't do things that you wouldn't do at home, then yeah, it's a really great activity to do on your own. And you can really learn so much about yourself and go and learn something new about a different place in the world as well, in different countries and stuff. So yes. So that's my top 5 activities of things that you can go and do on your own if you don't have any friends, or indeed if you just prefer spending a bit of time by yourself. And yes, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope it helped somebody give a bit of inspiration. It certainly has for me, doing these activities over the last couple of years. And yes, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.